Hello, my name is John Liberto, and I am a sophomore at Fordham University's Gabelli School of Business, currently pursuing an accounting major. This video is a brief analysis of my 361 questionnaire involving personal, professional, and academic contacts. I will be able to use this information in order to improve myself and obtain my career goals. I will also be better able to understand my own communication style's personal strengths and weaknesses. 3 of my top goals include working for one of the Big 4 accounting firms, obtaining my CPA, and eventually moving on to become a C-suite member of a hedge fund. My interviewees are all completely justified with the fact that I have a working relationship with them for over 1.5 years each, along with them having a deep personal knowledge of my own communication style and understanding how I communicate. One effective communication style that I have is good team collaboration skills. I use my abilities to improve teamwork in order to complete team projects, as well as working together with team members in order to pursue greater goals. I have confidence when I speak on different topics. I'm also willing to be flexible as the need arises in different situations with team members. I speak assertively and can express myself even when confronted with opposition. This speaks levels to my high D and my high I score on my DISC assessment, as they both lead to tell me that I have a very persuasive and assertive attitude in my communication style. One interviewee expresses that I use concise communication in my writing techniques that are especially useful for being clear and specific. I would like to point out that because I have 3 different types of relationships with these interviewees, I have both personal, professional, and finally academic relationships, which lead to a variety of different formalities that I must follow when speaking with them. This variety lets me see differences and similarities when interacting with different people of different relationships. My most lacking communication skills apply to my listening skills. One important comment that I have received from one of my interviewees was that I must wait before answering in order to stop getting ahead of the question and letting the other person speak fully before trying to cut in. I often let preliminary bias get in the way of my own thinking. If in a situation I'm talking with someone and I have my own opinion before the facts fully come out, I will lean toward my own opinion before considering someone else's. The good news is that I found that in time, with my patience, I'm able to more closely understand what they're trying to communicate toward me, although toward my own opinion before considering someone else's. The good news is that I found that in time, with my patience, I'm able to more closely understand what they're trying to communicate toward me, although the lack of timing is a problem when it leads to arguments in the beginning. One thing that I've noticed is that I can have my mind changed given enough time and evidence to support another claim. Again, the DISC is fairly accurate when describing my intensity and tendencies to overreact to different situations, which is a big problem with my D and I personality type. One of my strengths, which is often considered a weakness, is my assertiveness, and more often than not, aggressiveness. I often come off as too aggressive and off-putting in a conversation if I'm too direct and maybe even forceful in what I propose in different conversations. Each of my interviewees has had something very important to tell me. I have tendencies in my communication style that are both strengths and weaknesses. Now, I just need to use what I have learned in these 361 interviews in order to improve my communication style and better apply myself toward communicating in teams. My goal in this project is to take both my strength that I have in my communication style and the ineffective behaviors that I have and make them so that I can better understand how I communicate and ways to make my communication better. Knowing that I'm too aggressive makes it so that I know that I need to step back a little bit in my communication efforts. Knowing that I have a tendency not to listen lets me know that maybe stepping back is also a good thing. So stepping back is the first step to improving my communication style across the board. It may, by reducing the ineffective behaviors, increase my ability to listen, and in doing so, to better be persuasive and use my strength to their own advantage. Being assertive is not necessarily bad, but being aggressive is, and I've learned that the hard way sometimes through different experiences, speaking with different people. One example of when I speak too aggressively, especially with my brothers, works well, is that we often get in debated arguments where we may end up talking each other down as opposed to taking our time to listen to the other person because we both think we're right. I use my confidence, persuasiveness, and assertiveness to communicate in everyday life. It allows me to discuss what I need to while also considering the opinions of others, but not getting myself run over. Thank you very much for your time watching. One opportunity that I'm going to address this semester is my listening skills. I'm going to work on improving them and making them so that I'm able to fully communicate with my teammates in better understanding. Both developing new ideas through discussion and using motivational and positive attitudes to drive team collaboration are some goals that I'd like to strengthen for my term this semester. Improving these skills are not only a few ways that I can improve my qualitative teamwork, but also better collaborate with my team members and more understand the way they're trying to communicate toward myself, as opposed to thinking of myself first before them. If I can use my listening skills to better apply myself, I can gain a deeper understanding of what my teammates are trying to tell me, in addition to understanding my personal relationships as well. Using my listening skills, I can not only view others' perspectives, but also mitigate my own when having a biased opinion. Applying patience to my listening skills is a very important aspect for me to improve. I must use my abilities to keep myself in check in order to bond to people. I need to make sure that I don't cut them off in the middle of a question and otherwise try to interpret what they're saying as something that's misconstrued. The most important basics that I can do in order to improve my listening skills involve self-control. I must work on my aggressiveness, as well as my ability to wait and be patient for people to talk first. Using other people's ideas as a basis of my own, I can not only improve the way that I have an unbiased opinion, but also use their thinking to enhance how I think about different perspectives. Open communication is my ultimate goal in doing these exercises. And unfortunately, one of the problems is if that goal does not come to fruition, I will have failed myself. The most important aspect through learning these new communication styles and the nuances involved are the importance of learning how to openly communicate with team members as well as personal contacts. Knowing this, I'm going to move forward step by step in order to improve my own speech and the way that I can better and more effectively listen and learn as I impart my wisdom upon others as well. In order to improve my patience, I've created an activity that uses a rubber band on my wrist. Whenever I'm in a conversation or is using a discussion in which I'm tasked with listening and paying attention to others' words, before I must answer, I must snap the rubber band and wait for myself to think and respond before automatically spewing something out of my mouth and completely disregarding what was just said. That way, I'm able to hold myself in check and make sure that I've analyzed from all possible angles what I'm going to say and the importance of what I'm about to say as well. Because if I say the wrong thing and misconstrue my words, then oftentimes in the long run, it would be more hurtful than helpful. And even in the short run, it may be more hurtful than helpful. Because you never know when you might emotionally charge a statement and offend somebody, or use too aggressive of a statement to put someone off and maybe make them feel excluded from a conversation, which is one of the major dangers in a team environment. The reason that I'm putting my focus on team collaboration and team efforts is because teamwork is probably the most important aspect of any business-related job. Using teamwork, people can look at a problem from many different angles because you have so many different perspectives looking at the same problem. Now, while one person might bring to the table the analytical skills necessary to look at each different segment of inputs and realize that maybe there's a pattern that nobody else is noticing. But if their words can't be heard, then there's no point in me learning how to speak if I don't learn how to listen and apply those skills to improve the project and maybe make an even better completed task than what I previously thought was possible. Success has many faces. This involves completing a team project, meeting new people and making new relationships, and finally, and the extrinsic reward of it, is possibly getting a promotion or pay raise. Now, all of these things are nice complements to the ability to actually listen and learn, which are motivation in and of themselves to do better and to improve myself in efforts to better understand other people and how I communicate on my own. By following these guidelines and looking forward to these opportunities for success, I can position myself for a better position in the future, and using my abilities to listen and learn and to create a sense of awareness in my own communication style in order to improve myself. Thank you very much for watching this video.